Usually, the first All-Star game is cited as the Ace Bailey benefit game in 1933, but that is not the first All-Star game. It is the first in NHL history, but not the first in hockey history. For that, we have to go back to before the NHL even existed, to the 1907-08 ECAHA season, when the Hod Stuart benefit All-Star game was played on January 2nd, 1908. Hod Stuart was born on February 20th, 1879 and was a star athlete, playing for the Ottawa Rough Riders football team, but he really excelled on the ice, where he became one of the top players in the early history of hockey in Canada. Stuart began his career with the Ottawa Hockey Club of the CAHL in 1898-99, remaining with the team for 2 years before he moved over to the Quebec Bulldogs for 2 seasons. A clean player known for his ability to keep his cool on the ice even as players played dirty around him, he decided to move over to the Montreal Wanderers in 1906-07, now that he was released from his former team. On December 27, 1906, he played in his first Stanley Cup game, and on December 29th, he won his first Stanley Cup. On June 23, 1907, Stuart was swimming near Belleville with friends when he swam to a nearby lighthouse and climbed onto a platform. He then dived headfirst into the water, hitting his head on a rock, gashing his head and breaking his neck. He was killed instantly. Over the course of his hockey career, Stuart had 53 goals and 11 assists in 93 games. He's considered one of the best, if not the best, hockey player of the first decade of the 1900s. And that brings us to the first All-Star game. To raise money for Stuart's widow and 2 children, the ECAHA decided to hold the first All-Star game ever played in any sport. The Hod Stuart Memorial Game was held on January 2, 1908, with 3,800 fans attending. The tickets sold out days in advance, and the Westmount Arena owners agreed to host the event for no charge to ensure all money went to the family. The game featured the Montreal Wanderers playing against the top players of the other teams in the ECAHA. Fans were able to mail in choices for who they wanted to be on the All-Star team. The Wanderers, who were used to playing together, dominated the game to start against the All-Stars, who needed to find their footing with their new teammates. The Wanderers led 7-1 after the first half of the game. The All-Stars would battle back, but they lost 10-7 to the Wanderers. Overall, the entire affair was highly successful and a great event to remember a legendary player. In all, the game raised $2,100 for the family of Stuart, amounting to about $75,000 today. It would be nearly 3 decades before another All-Star game was played, this time to benefit Ace Bailey. As for Stuart, in 1945, he was one of the first 9 players to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. If you enjoy Canadian history, then check out my podcast, Canadian History X, available on all podcast platforms.